Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Big Man Podcast. Today, we have a very special guest joining us.
The one.
The only, Luca Danielli.
So, thank you all for inviting me. I really appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah, of course.
Today, we will be talking about GMOs, genetically modified organisms.
This guy right here, he doesn't know anything about GMOs, right?
No, I mean, I've heard the name maybe once or twice in my life, so I'm really excited to see what you guys have for me today.
Well,
So,
Luca, how much do you like salad?
Decent little bit, I eat it maybe once a week.
If I told you many vegetables that go in your salad are genetically modified organisms.
Well, that'd be interesting. Maybe I'll eat it more often if I can learn a bit and it's good. If I don't like it, never eat salad ever again.
Lucky you came here. Ian?
so GMOs, do you know what they are?
No.
GMOs, it's basically, GMO means genetically modified organisms. And so what happens is they genetically engineer organisms such as the ones you eat and the ones in salad so that they have better characteristics that make them cheaper, easier, and just more profitable in general.
As genetic engineering as a practice has gone up, so has the use of genetically modified organisms. And how scientists would achieve something like this is very simple. They will find a gene they like to maybe make a plant bigger, like a tomato. You have a regular here and you want to make it bigger. Scientists will find a sequence that will help grow it to be bigger, take that sequence out and implant it into the cells of the tomato, which will in turn help it grow to achieve that characteristic.
Alright.
And GMOs, it's not just plants. Actually, a common GMO usage in animals is salmon. Certain salmon, they're genetically engineered so that they grow quicker and hence they could be farmed quicker and more output. And, actually the first GMO, it was invented by two guys in 1973, where they were trying to do something and they used genetic engineering to implant a gene into an organism.
Nice. So, can you do this in other foods as well, like hamburgers and fries and stuff?
Well, yes, you can actually, in cows, sometimes we use genetically engineered hormones, and we can give them to the cows that make them grow bigger, be stronger, make more milk, and stuff like that. So most likely most foods are GMO in some form or another.
Many GMOs you might see in the store will have a sign or something on them that says GMO. This mostly applies to vegetables, as he said, but there are a few protein foods that fit this characteristic as well.
Nice.
Yeah, actually, I'm pretty sure, I think I read somewhere that some companies, they don't actually have to put GMO on their products. It's not regulated by the FDA or something, but some companies, they don't have to do that, and other companies, they don't even have to. There's like a sort of policy that makes sure that they don't have to test certain things if it's a GMO product.
Wow,
beforehand.
I feel like that's a little scary, If it goes a little wrong, that's
Yeah, that's why I'm a little bit against it, but yeah.
I don't know, man. More food is always better. That's what I always say.
But like, Andrew, do you know any common foods that are GMO?
Well, as a matter of fact, I do. Tomatoes, as I said earlier, and salmon, as you have mentioned, but other vegetables like squash and cucumbers and stuff of that sort are very commonly used for GMOs.
So the reason why GMOs are so important is because we're seeing a lot of GMO usage everywhere we go. In all of our foods. It's actually kind of hard and more expensive to find something that isn't GMO, that isn't genetically engineered. And the reason why is because it's just so much cheaper, so much easier for big companies to use GMO products.
GMOs, as they expand in their popularity, aren't always known as GMOs. There are many names for them, from bioengineered food to LMOs, living modified organisms. And they also have been called genetically modified foods instead of organisms.
So a LMO, a living modified organism. I have to ask this: can we be genetically modified? Superpower stuff like that. You know, I gotta go down there.
Yes.
That's a branch for. You could go on that tangent for a long time.
Short answer.
There's definitely certain drawbacks and certain things you have to consider about that, but I wouldn't say it's not a possibility.
All right. I'll be working on that.
So, look, after all our discussion about genetically modified organisms, where do you stand on this?
Right now, I really think I enjoy it. I think it could be good. I think I like it, but I do want to do a little more research probably when I get home. Now that I have some kind of interest in it, you know, the LMOs interest me. Obviously, if the food I'm eating is involving that, you know.
I agree. I think it's a great concept, and I think we should continue doing it.
I don't agree. I think it's honestly it's unnecessary and it's too dangerous to really be feasible, honestly.
Oh, I sense a debate coming. Luca, thank you, man, for coming out.
Appreciate it. Thank you for letting me be here.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
We
Hey,
appreciate
I've got
your
some new
presence.
interest now, and that's all I could ask for. So,
Absolutely.
really, thank you so much. Have a good day.
Have a good
See ya.
And now, before today's debate, a word from today's sponsor, the E Squared Musical Group and Sound Company.
You ever thought there could be an easier way to teach through sound? Well, now there is with the E Squared Musical Group and Sound Company. We find new ways to make sound engaging and educational. Our in-house bands are constantly creating new songs that motivate education, while also being incredibly fun and enjoyable to listen to.
You can also call or message them at any time to get professional advice on your unique situation. And how sound could help increase the value of your teaching? Use the promo code SOUND on our website to get 50% off early and exclusive access to new releases when they come out. Again, that's promo code SOUND to get a whole 50% off entertaining and educational sounds everybody will love. Thank you to E Squared Musical Group for sponsoring this debate.
So now that Luke is out of the crossfire, and why do you like GMOs that much?
What's not to like about GMOs?
I mean, have you not seen the tons of data that point to GMOs being possibly harmful and riskful?
Have you not seen all the positive effects that have come out of GMOs? GMOs have been created to be bigger and healthier, adding vitamins and many needed sources of nutrients to foods, and humans do not need as much food now that GMOs have been invented.
So the thing about that is, sure, it's got all those good benefits, but then you're also making food unstable and could possibly make it harmful if you ingest it.
And how would that be?
How would that be? So in foods, in GMO foods, there's these viral vectors and antibody resistance, right, that they put in there. And sometimes they put them in there and they have no effect. Like, they don't have a very specific way to input it into food so that it always works or not. And what this can do, it can bring out the toxic materials. It can increase the amount of the toxic materials that are inside the foods, making them harmful.
So I'll pose this question to you. What if we didn't have these foods in the first place? GMOs have been genetically modified to be able to resist conditions like droughts and major environmental factors that might otherwise destroy them. Though it might have negative effects, if we don't have the food in the first place, there's no way to have a benefit or a negative effect from it.
That's a point taken, but still, is it you really gonna risk the fact that you could be eating something toxic just to know that it's got better nutrients in it, or that it's a bigger plant?
Well, the other issue we've got to focus on here is the economics of it. As you said yourself earlier, GMOs are much cheaper than regular organisms nowadays because there's so many of them. And this helps people that wouldn't otherwise be able to get these kind of foods. Like, with inflation nowadays, things are getting expensive. But if GMOs are cheaper, it's a great source of possibly healthier and better sources for lower income families.
So I've got a couple of points because so there's no real reason why you would economically pick something other than GMO food unless you're labeling it as organic and selling it for a higher price. But the fact is, yes, you can make more money with GMO foods, and yes, it's better for the economy that you're selling more foods. But one thing about GMO foods, other than the fact I stated earlier, is that when they combine genes from one plant and put it into another, they're creating a new substance and each GMO product is opening an avenue for an allergy. So, cut. Please forgive that interruption. Like I was saying, the GMO products, they can create new allergies, which could prove to be very harmful and a big problem for a lot of people because everyone's eating these GMO products. Along with that, it's been proven that they did a study on rats eating GMO potatoes, and when they did this, the rats eating the GMOs, they showed problems in development, like organ development, growth, and just like not good effects anyway. Do you have anything to say about that?
I must have missed that article.
Yeah, obviously.
I mean, that's a fair point. I will give you that. I mean, development problems can be, but that can also be attributed to mutations in the plants as well. That might not be a direct effect of the GMO plants. Oh.
So yeah, I was just trying to bring that to your attention because are you really willing to risk that for having a bigger tomato or a tomato that stays ripe longer?
Well, I think GMOs are more planning for the future as well. I mean, scientists have not yet perfected this, but GMOs so far, I haven't seen all the data on this, but they haven't been attributed to major amounts of death. And I feel like as scientists develop on in their technology and their resources when trying to figure out better ways to make these genetically modified organisms better, it'll be useful in the long run. And although it might not be the best now, technology upcoming can help increase its potential.
That's a good point. I'm not just saying this because I'm against GMOs. I'm just saying if we do some refinement, scientists do some refinement with GMOs to get it to where it's like really, really safe, much safer than it is now, I would be all for it because, like you said, it's got some good benefits. It makes better products. It's cheaper for the farmer, and all around it's good. Other than the fact that it could be harmful, and I'm just saying I wouldn't really risk it.
I can agree with that. I think there are some problems with it, but I will call to mind another fact that may have been overlooked, and that pesticides have been shown in the past that have been poured on plants that have caused many major problems. Pesticides have caused many diseases and genetic problems for people that may ingest these. Mm-hmm. And genetically modified organisms, they can be modified to the point that they do not need as much pesticides to keep the pests away from them. They can be modified to be more effective in this kind of environment, helping save many people from the effects of genetic.
That's a very good point, like tying it to something else that's already happened. Like it's also kind of a problem. I was gonna say in your defense, I forgot my train of thought, but
a lot of distractions right here. I can understand it.
I don't know. I was gonna say something, but it was in your defense. It was a good point, but I just like to. Yeah, I think have we come to like a kind of consensus to the point that we both understand that there are risks, but other than that, there are benefits as well.
And I do agree that there should be a little bit more testing, but as of the state of the world right now, I do believe there should be. GMOs are very effective in maintaining good economic stability and less pesticide use. They're a safer option for now, and I'm excited to see what happens in the future.
Yeah, and also, this is a point in your defense. Do you know about the golden rice and what they do with the golden rice?
I have heard what they've done with the golden rice.
That's one of the good things about GMOs. They can do that so that people who already eat something like rice, they can get better nutrients, as rice is a cheap food, and sometimes that's the only option people have. But I do understand where you're coming from with your sentiment towards GMOs.
This has been a very effective debate.
Thank you.
Well fought. Thank you all for listening to another episode of this podcast. Hope you guys have a great day.
And thank you to our sponsors, the E Squared musical group. And thank you all.
And to Luca Danelli for coming out.
Oh yeah, and Luca. Thank you.